Devin Haney was an 1100 minus 1100 favorite leading up to this fight at one point. Closed at about minus 800, 900, 1000, depending on where you look. The translation, if you don't understand betting, which is not all we're going to talk about today, Devin Haney was a massive favorite to the point where I'm sure Devin Haney ruined a lot of parlays. And in the interest of transparency, at Action Network, at the Mandatory with myself and Chantel Chan, New York Post, wherever I preview the fight, and on the Rostradamus show on the Ringer gambling show podcast feed, I said going into the fight, these are my bets. Over half a knockdown. I felt like Ryan Garcia's been dropped a few different times. Luke Campbell, Gervonta Davis multiple times. I felt like, okay, Devin Haney could probably catch him at some point if Ryan Garcia gets very frustrated, very just like erratic in the ring. Then Devin Haney could potentially put him down, as he did to Regis Prograis, somebody who doesn't get dropped. And he found a way to drop him, maybe growing into his body more, 135, 140. And like Terrence Crawford getting stronger as he moved up. Not necessarily the case anymore. And with Ryan Garcia, maybe Ryan Garcia, because he has the power and speed advantages over Devin Haney, can catch him. Wasn't as confident in that happening, but it did happen, and we did land that bet that was minus 105 at the time. The other one that I liked very much going into that fight, I wanted to take a chance. Devin Haney by decision was what most people were doing, minus 165, minus 180. Ryan Garcia's antics basically moved that line all the way up to plus 100 at some point leading up to the fight, where the knockout that I was going after for Devin Haney, all of a sudden the value was dropping over the course of the week because so many people were on it because of Ryan Garcia's behavior and activity. And what I liked going into the fight was Devin Haney to get the knockout or technical knockout between rounds 7 through 12 plus 400. So 1 for 2, hit on a minus 105. Solid, we'll take that. Obviously did not hit the ladder. That was my prediction going into the fight. You're not going to win them all. I'm 10-4 this year. To me, it was the most shocking boxing outcome since I might have to go back to Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua in 2019. There may be something since then. Ramla Ali's loss was pretty shocking. As a matter of fact, she got knocked out not that long ago. But for the most part, I wasn't too surprised by Robesi Ramirez losing his last fight or Vasily Lomachenko losing to Teofimo Lopez. I think this is a monster upset that will probably become less of an upset over time because we'll have some revisionist history on it, but we have to remember where we were. This is definitely you have to remember where you were situation in regards to this fight. Ryan Garcia had an interesting performance because he came out in the first round, stunned Devin Haney, dropped him, kind of didn't do anything between rounds 2 through 5, especially. In round 6, he picked it up a little bit, and then round 7 drops Devin Haney again. Had more lulls in round 8, so to speak, but then ended out strong. I thought Ryan Garcia swept the last 3 or 4 rounds. I eventually got to 113, 111, or 114, 110. I got to look over my scorecard, but Ryan Garcia won the fight, no doubt about it. Probably should have knocked him out also, but we could talk about clinching and all those things at a different point. Next for Ryan Garcia, he can get whatever he wants. A rematch would do really well. A rematch with Tank would do really well, though I don't think Tank's going to fight him at the weight class Ryan Garcia desires. Ryan Garcia says that he is not dropping below 143. His body can't do it. He is basically a welterweight now at this point. He is to be considered a welterweight now at this point. He can't make 140. If he can't make 140, he can't make 135. And if he can't make 135, he's probably not going to fight Tank Davis. The best option is probably a Devin Haney rematch, or he could just fight anybody else and just make a lot of money. He could even fight a soft opponent, knock him out, make a lot of money, do it in Cali, where he's from. I think Ryan Garcia has like the world at the palm of his hands at this point, and he is the A side in whatever fight he chooses next outside of a Gervonta Davis rematch, because Gervonta Davis beat him the first time, even if the fight were to be at 145 at a catch weight or 147 along those lines. Next for Devin Haney, get a better chin. It's probably the first thing. Devin Haney is in serious trouble career-wise if he can't hurt anybody and has a soft chin. Ultimately, what we saw is Devin Haney, who's an excellent boxer, one of the best counterpunchers in the sport, defensively very sharp, very smart. He has great instincts, and he was able to piece up Ryan at different points of the fight. However, it didn't really matter because he couldn't hurt Ryan Garcia like for a considerable period. Ryan Garcia, it was weird. I called it a Deontay Wilder ass performance because of some of the things that he showed in this fight, where he's turning his back. It was just awkward stuff. He was turning his back. He was trying to execute this Philly shell, which a lot of people in boxing would tell you is still pretty awkward. He would get very active for short spurts, and then he would go on these very long lulls that would cost him rounds to the point where it looked like a toss-up fight going into round 10, 11, because Ryan Garcia wasn't consistent with the activity. And then he eventually almost got the stoppage and then won a decision. So the best option is probably a rematch with Ryan Garcia and avenging the loss. Devin Haney, if you want to unify at this weight class, it's not going to be very easy because Isaac Cruz is a big puncher. Teofimo Lopez is a big puncher. And Subriel Matias might be the biggest puncher of this group. And he's a champion in your stable, Matchroom Boxing, who's going to make his debut with the stable in June in Puerto Rico. I'm very excited about that. You can see the Puerto Rican flag behind me. I'm very excited for Subriel Matias. But that's probably the best option because if Devin Haney can't hurt anybody in this weight class, I don't see how you can back him confidently to beat Isaac Cruz, to beat Subriel Matias, or to beat Teofimo Lopez. You could argue that he has more skill than all those guys, but if he touches chin and he reacts like that, then he's going to be in serious trouble. So those are some opening thoughts. Let me know what you think. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, recap a little bit late here on the channel. We're also just experimenting, doing some things here on the channel, here on the build-up. We're going to cover every sport possible, even got some NFL draft stuff coming up. So subscribe at Bryan Fonseca NY and subscribe here on YouTube. We got more to come very soon.